Welcome to this demonstration of the batch production capabilities within the TotalBatch SuiteApp. In this demonstration, we are going to produce a single batch that will result in 5 individual roasts of coffee to be combined into that single batch, and all of this will be created from the planning workbench. So we've already entered all of our demand, and our planning workbench has determined by individual batch sizes what will need to be produced in order to satisfy that demand. And if I want to produce this particular batch, I simply select which of the planned work orders I want to have created and release the selected work orders. Once those have been released, they will show up in the mass create production orders function. This is a planned order, so it will show up here. And here I can see my bulk coffee roast. And if I want to create the production order from the screen, I simply select which orders I want to create and click submit. We can check on the progress by clicking the refresh button and see if the process is completed and production order 83 has been created. That'll take us to our production order, where we can modify this to select whichever of the routings we want. In this case, if I want to break this into 5 individual roast production orders that are all going to flow into a single batch, I can select that routing, and that will update this to produce a total of 500 pounds through 5 production orders. Once that's saved, we'll use create batch. And we can add any of our own personal batch name if necessary, but this will produce 5 individual production orders for a total of 500 quantities to be produced, and which particular roaster we would like to use. That takes us back to our production order. If I navigate to the batch, I can now see that 5 individual production orders have been created. I'll navigate to the first production order. I can select my lots I want to use. And I can start this production order by issuing components. If I'm issuing 120 pounds of the selected lot, I simply need to confirm by clicking save. Navigating back to my batch, I can now go start any of the production on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th through the process. Now that all of my issues have been completed, and I could have tracked any quality control or specific data points for any of these individual roasts that are going to flow into this batch. But if I want to complete this batch in its entirety, and by virtue of completing all of the individual ones, I can do so by simply clicking the Complete Batch button. Here I can specify which piece of equipment I want to complete this into, either where it is currently, or if I want to move that into some other vessel. In this case, I will be moving this into packaging tank 3. And what was the full volume or quantity that I'm moving into that? So we were shooting to produce 500 pounds. In total, we got 495. And submit that. That will take us back to our batch record, where we can now see that all of the individual production orders have been completed. And it will take the difference between what was planned and what was actually completed in the end and distribute that evenly amongst all the different production orders related to that batch. Additionally, we can see all of the insights and all of the GL impact from all of the different records that were created, including all of our production order issuances and completions. And we can see all of the labor, overhead, and other items. In this case, all of the production order issues of the single origin coffee beans, 120 per, and the total batch value as it currently stands.